Today, we're tackling a significant and developing story that's been sweeping across the United Kingdom. In the past few weeks, the UK has witnessed a series of intense protests and counter-protests, with tensions reaching a boiling point in several major cities. These events have not only captured national attention but have also raised important questions about immigration, racism, and the power of misinformation. The situation began to unravel following a tragic incident in Southport, where a stabbing resulted in the deaths of 3 young girls. Almost immediately, misinformation spread on social media, falsely identifying the suspect as an immigrant and a Muslim. This unfounded claim quickly gained traction, fueling anger and resentment among certain far-right groups. In response, these groups organized anti-immigration protests across the UK, leading to violent clashes and significant unrest. In cities like London, Liverpool, Birmingham, and even Belfast, far-right protesters took to the streets, voicing anti-immigration sentiments. However, these protests did not go uncontested. Thousands of anti-racism and pro-immigration activists mobilized in response, staging counter-protests that dwarfed the far-right gatherings in size and intensity. The streets of London, for instance, were filled with demonstrators chanting "Refugees welcome" and "Stop the far-right," sending a powerful message of unity and resistance against hate. The scale of these protests has been unprecedented in recent years. Over 500 people have been arrested across the country, with more than 100 arrests occurring in London alone. The police were forced to deploy thousands of officers, including specialist units, to manage the situation and prevent further violence. Despite these efforts, clashes between protesters and law enforcement have been intense, with several injuries reported. Political leaders have been quick to respond to these events. Prime Minister Keir Starmer condemned the far-right riots, labeling them as thuggery and strongly rejecting any attempts to link these actions to legitimate political discourse. He emphasized the need for a strong police presence to maintain order and protect communities from the spread of misinformation and violence. The government's stance has been clear: there is no place for such extremism in the UK, and those responsible for inciting violence will be held accountable. Meanwhile, London Mayor Sadiq Khan has expressed deep concern over the rise in far-right activity, particularly as it relates to the Muslim community. He has called for increased vigilance and support for those who have been targeted by hate, stating that racism and bigotry have no place in our city. His comments reflect a broader public sentiment that the recent unrest has crossed a line and that decisive action is needed to prevent further escalation. The public's response to these events has been overwhelmingly supportive of the counter-protests. In cities like Bristol and Sheffield, thousands of people joined peaceful demonstrations to stand against the far-right, carrying banners with messages like "Migration is not a crime" and "London against racism." This show of solidarity has been crucial in pushing back against the narrative of hate that some far-right groups have tried to propagate. Interestingly, this wave of protests has also sparked a broader conversation about the role of social media in spreading misinformation and inciting violence. Many have called for stricter regulations on platforms that allow such dangerous content to circulate unchecked. As these protests continue to unfold, it's clear that the UK is at a crossroads. The recent unrest has highlighted deep-seated issues within our society, from the dangers of misinformation to the enduring challenges of racism and xenophobia. But it has also shown the power of unity, as thousands have come together to stand against hate and advocate for a more inclusive and tolerant society. Now more than ever, it's important to stay informed, stay engaged, and continue to support efforts to build a better future for everyone in the UK. If you found this update helpful, please consider liking the video, sharing it with others, and subscribing to the channel for more updates on this and other important issues. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. What are your thoughts on the recent protests? How can we, as a society, move forward from here? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.